Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, I'll show you step by step how to create a fake 3D product animation in After Effects without using any plugins. Before we get started, please don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on notifications to support me. Most of my viewers are actually not subscribed yet. If you're ready, let's jump into the tutorial. Let's get started. Before we start animating, let's first organize our scene. The first step is to pre-compose all the leaf layers. The reason for this is to avoid any visual glitches on the screen when we apply the leaf swing animation effect. By doing this, we'll ensure that our animation looks clean and seamless. So now let's go ahead and pre-compose all the leaf layers. First, let's pre-compose the cream and cream lid layers separately. Then, while holding down the Shift key, select the following layers: cream shadow, cream text 1, text 2, and text 3. Once selected, go to the top menu and choose Layer, Pre-Compose to group these layers into a single composition. Now let's apply the same process to the cream lid layer as well. With the layer selected, go to Layer, Driver, Pre-Compose in the top menu to convert it into a separate composition. Now, as I mentioned earlier, let's pre-compose the leaf layers one by one. Select each leaf layer individually and use Layer, Pre-Compose to turn them into separate compositions. To save your time, I'll fast forward this part. Now, to create a swinging effect on the leaves, let's apply the CC Bend It effect from the Effects and Presets panel. Place the start point at the bottom of the leaf and the end point at the top. This will create a more realistic swinging motion for the leaf. Now, set the bend value to -10. A keyframe at the first frame of the timeline. Then, move 90 frames forward and change the bend value to 10. Press the U key to reveal the keyframes. Select all keyframes and apply Easy Ease. This will create a smoother and more natural swinging motion for the leaf. As you can see, the leaf currently moves between two keyframes. Now, let's make this movement loop continuously so the leaf keeps swinging. Hold down the Alt key on your keyboard and click once on the keyframe icon. In the opened expression field, type Loop Out Ping Pong. This will make the leaf swing continuously in a symmetrical motion. Now let's copy the CC Bend It effect and apply it to the other leaf layers. To do this, select the effect and click Edit, Copy from the top menu. This will successfully copy the effect. Now, select the second leaf layer and go to Edit, Paste from the top menu. This way, we'll apply the effect to the other leaf layer as well. Now, once again, align the start point with the bottom of the leaf. Then place the end point at the top of the leaf. Now, let's apply the same steps to the remaining leaf layers as well. Now, let's place the leaves neatly and evenly in our scene. Pay attention to the size, rotation, and position of each leaf to create a more natural and balanced look. You can also slightly rotate or scale some leaves to add visual variety and realism to the composition. Great, our leaf animation is complete and looks really nice in the scene. To add realism to the leaves on the ground, let's apply a shadow. From the Effects and Presets panel, drag and drop the Drop Shadow effect onto the leaf layer. Set the distance value to 10. Set the opacity value to 75. Increase the softness value until it looks more natural and visually pleasing to your eye. Let's apply the same process to the other leaf layers as well. Remember, the more carefully you handle these small details, the more impressive and high quality your animation will turn out. Let's now add animation to the cream element. Double-click the cream element to enter its composition for animation. Before we start animating, let's fix the shadow problem in the cream object. With the shadow layer selected, apply the fill effect from the Effects and Presets panel to the layer. Select black from the color panel. Since the background is currently black, our shadow is not visible. To fix this, we make the background transparent. This way, the shadow becomes visible. Now, since our shadow is a bit too long, let's scale it down. With the shadow layer selected, press the S key on your keyboard to open the scale settings. Then reduce the size of the shadow until it looks appropriate. Now, let's add a blur effect to the shadow. From the Effects and Presets panel, apply the Fast Box Blur effect to the shadow layer. Now, let's uncheck the Repeat Edge Pixels option in the blur settings. The reason for this is to prevent edge clipping when we increase the blur amount. You'll see the difference more clearly in a moment. Now, since we want the blur effect to be applied only to the sides, left and right, we set the blur dimensions to horizontal. This way, when we increase the blur radius, the effect will be applied horizontally. Now you can clearly see why we unchecked the Repeat Edge Pixels option. Now let's select the Cream Text 1, Text 2, and Text 3 layers, then go to the Layer menu at the top and choose Pre-Compose. Now I'm going to animate it in a way that makes it look like the cream text is spinning in as it moves from right to left. To achieve this effect, I'll apply a position animation that moves the text layer from right to left. Press the P key on your keyboard to open the position settings. We add a keyframe at the beginning of the scene. Then, we move 60 frames forward on the timeline and add another keyframe, positioning the text so that it aligns with the cream model. Set the text's starting position at the first keyframe. It will move from right to left across the cream model, making it look like the model is rotating. After adding the animation, select all keyframes and apply Easy Ease to create smoother transitions. Now I want the text to enter quickly from the right and slow down towards the end. To achieve this effect, I select the keyframes and adjust the speed curve in the graph editor. Great! There's a minor issue. The text appears on both sides of the cream model. Let's fix it. First, select the cream layer, then go to the Edit menu at the top and choose Duplicate to create a copy. We place the duplicated cream layer on top of the cream text layer. We use the Track Matte feature to mask the text inside the cream layer, so it only appears within that shape. Can't see Track Matte? Just click on Toggle Switches/Modes to show it. Link the cream text layer to the cream layer using the Parent and Link option. This makes the text appear inside the cream model and adds a rotating effect. Awesome progress! The initial stages of our animation are almost done. Bring the cream lid to life with some animation. Start by double-clicking on the cream lid layer to enter its editing mode. To apply a rotation effect to the lid, go to the toolbar at the top and choose the pen tool. Before adding the shape on top of the lid, make sure the quote lid layer is not selected while using the pen tool. Otherwise, it will create a mask instead of a shape. To avoid this, click on an empty area to deselect everything, then draw your shape using the pen tool. To create a reflection effect on the lid layer, we start by drawing a shape layer in this form. To create another shape layer, we simply duplicate the existing one via Edit, Duplicate from the top menu. Next, we'll set the orientation of the shape layer within the scene. Select all the shape layers and use Layer, Pre-Compose from the top menu to group them into a single composition. To animate the lid layer, press P on your keyboard to reveal the position settings. At the very beginning of the animation, the first frame of the scene, we add a position keyframe. Advancing 60 frames along the timeline, we create a new keyframe. At the final keyframe, we move the shape layer outward, positioning it beyond the boundaries of the lid layer. At the first keyframe, we set the shape layer to its initial position where the animation will begin. After adding the animation, select all keyframes and apply Easy Ease to create smoother transitions. I want the text to start fast and slow down, so I use the graph editor to adjust the keyframe speed. To create a glowing effect, go to the Effects and Presets panel, search for Glow, and drag it onto the selected layer. For a more intense glow effect, adjust and increase the glow radius setting. To create a blur effect, apply the Fast Box Blur effect to the layer via the Effects and Presets panel. To give the layer a more organic and distorted look, apply the Roughen Edges effect. To enhance the distorted edges created by the Roughen Edges effect, increase the scale value to 10. Adjust these fine-tuning settings according to your visual preference to achieve the most appealing result. To give it a softer and more natural appearance, press O on your keyboard to reveal the opacity setting, then reduce it slightly. Use Track Matte on the shape layer to mask it inside the lid layer. The edges outside the lid will be removed. From the top Edit menu, duplicate the cream lid layer to make a copy. Place the copied layer right above the lid reflection layer. We link the lid reflection layer to the cream lid layer using the Parent and Link feature. This ensures that the shape layer reflection appears only within the lid layer. Now, let's add a light flare effect to create a more appealing and polished look. From the Effects and Presets panel, apply the CC Light Sweep effect to the cream lid layer. We adjust the direction of the light using the direction setting. The width parameter lets us control how wide the light flare appears on the surface. By adjusting these parameters, we intensify the light's glow effect. Next, we'll set the direction from which the light enters the scene. Add a keyframe to the center section to set the starting position. Then move 60 frames ahead and shift the light direction toward the opposite side. To view keyframes, select the cream lid layer and press the U key. Select all keyframes and apply Easy Ease to create a smoother animation. To adjust the animation speed, we open the graph editor and modify the light's speed curve. This way the animation starts fast and gradually slows down toward the end. To make the reflection more visible, we need to increase its opacity. Press O to reveal the opacity property, then adjust it to a higher value. Awesome! Now that we've handled the main parts of the animation, let's animate the cream model. I'd like the cream to slide in from the right side of the screen and the lid to come down from the top and connect to it. By selecting the cream model and pressing P, I bring up the position property of the layer to start animating its movement. To begin animating the position, we'll add a keyframe to the position setting. Let's go 60 frames ahead and add a second keyframe. Since this is the final state of the scene, we won't change that keyframe. We go back to the first keyframe and move the model off screen so the final look of the scene stays unaffected. Select all keyframes and apply Easy Ease to create a smoother animation. To adjust the animation speed, we open the graph editor and modify the light's speed curve. This way the animation starts fast and gradually slows down toward the end. Next, we'll animate the lid layer. Select the layer and press P to open the position property. To begin animating the position, we'll add a keyframe to the position setting. Navigate to the last keyframe of the cream layer, and at that point add a new keyframe to the lid layer. By going back to the initial keyframe, we position the lid layer at the top of the scene. Thus, as the cream layer slides in from the right, the lid will descend from above, resulting in the intended animation. Select all keyframes and apply Easy Ease to create a smoother animation. Let's use the graph editor to adjust the speed curve of the lid layer to match the movement of the cream layer. This way, the lid will start fast and slow down to a stop. Let's position the lid layer so that it drops down from the top after the cream model reaches the center of the scene. This will keep the animation smooth and visually appealing. Now let's combine the cream and lid layers into a single composition. After selecting both layers, go to the layer menu at the top and choose Pre-Compose. Then give the new composition a name. The animation is nearly complete. For the final step, let's add a 3D camera movement. I'm aiming for a parallax effect, where the camera moves backward through the leaves, gradually revealing the full scene layout. To create depth for the camera movement, we select all layers in the scene and turn on the 3D layer switch. To create movement in our 3D scene, we go to Layer, New, Camera, and add a new camera to the composition. Our camera settings will be as follows. Now let's create a null object for the camera. Right-click on the camera layer, go to the camera menu, and choose Create Orbit Null to add a null object. I find this method more convenient and efficient for projects like this. We select all layers except the camera and null object layers. Then press P on the keyboard to reveal the position settings for all of them. Now I want to open a second viewport in my workspace, besides view 1. For example, one viewport can show the perspective view, active camera, while the other displays the top view, or a custom view. This way, I can observe and edit the same scene from two different angles more efficiently. To add a second viewport in the workspace, open the View 1 drop-down menu and choose View 2, which opens a new viewport. By scrolling the mouse wheel up or down, we can zoom in or out of the view. This makes it easier to access the layers and edit them more comfortably. For the parallax effect, layers are positioned at different depths by adjusting their position values accordingly. When the camera moves through these layers, the parallax illusion is created. I'm assuming you've understood this part, so I'm speeding it up a bit. We position the cream layer behind the leaf layers by moving it to the farthest back. If you want, we can now close the second window. To see our scene more clearly, we set the view to Fit up to 100% so it fills the screen. After selecting all layers, press S to open the scale settings for each layer. Let's start scaling each layer individually, from back to front, to enhance the depth effect. Since this step is just about resizing the screen and doesn't involve anything complex, I'll speed it up a bit so we don't waste time. It's a simple adjustment. Right after this, we'll move on to the next settings. Now we can add a camera movement to bring some dynamic motion into the scene. To control the camera movement, select the null object and press P to open its position settings. To begin the animation, we add the initial keyframe to the position of the null object. Next, go 60 frames ahead in the timeline and add a second keyframe to the position to define the camera movement. Return to the first keyframe and create a zoom-in movement by adjusting the camera's position. To make the animation smoother, select all the keyframes and apply Easy Ease from the right-click menu. Open the graph editor to fine-tune the camera movement and adjust the speed curve for a smoother animation. In this part of the animation, I want the cream layer to delay its entrance. It should come into the scene only after the camera has moved back slightly to create a more impactful reveal. At this point, I'll create a smooth zoom in on the cream model to make the scene more visually engaging and cinematic. Adding a new keyframe for the position setting. Moving 60 frames ahead on the timeline, we apply a zoom effect to the camera. To make the camera movement more dynamic, I'm fine-tuning the speed curve in the graph editor to accelerate the approach toward the cream object. As the camera zooms in, I'll add a light effect to the cream text to make it pop. To do this, we access the cream layer and double-click on the cream text layer inside it. To highlight the text logo at the final position, let's apply a glow effect. Let's find the CC Light Sweep effect in the Effects and Presets panel and apply it to the text logo. We can customize the light's direction and the glow's intensity to achieve the desired effect. We position the light effects center at the point where the animation should begin. To create the light animation, we set a keyframe on the center parameter of the CC Light Sweep effect. Move 60 frames ahead on the timeline and drag the light effects center to the opposite side of the text logo so it sweeps across the text during the animation. Press the U key to display all animated properties and keyframes for easier editing. To make the animation smoother, we select all the keyframes and apply Easy Ease by right-clicking on them. To make the light animation smoother and more natural, we use the graph editor to fine-tune the speed curve. To enhance the realism of the animation, we perform subtle yet effective fine-tuning as usual. These small refinements help achieve a more polished and professional look. As the camera zooms in, we add a blur effect to the leaf layers to enhance depth and realism in the scene. First, select the leaf layer. Then find and apply the Fast Box Blur effect from the Effects and Presets panel. To increase the blur amount, adjust the blur radius in the Fastbox Blur effect to 5. At the beginning of the timeline, set a keyframe on the blur radius property. At the position where the camera stops, set the blur radius property to 0. Press U to reveal all animated properties and keyframes on the selected layer. To smooth the animation, we move the keyframes toward the time when the leaves become visible and apply Easy Ease. To synchronize the blur animation with the camera motion, we fine-tune the speed curve in the graph editor. At the camera's approach, we insert an additional keyframe. Increase the blur radius to 4, and fine-tune the speed curve in the graph editor for smooth animation. After copying the blur effect, we paste it onto all leaf layers and fine-tune the animation keyframes for each one separately. As the finishing touch, we're adding a particles effect. I'll provide the download link for the effect in the description below. By changing the particle effects mode to overlay, we eliminate black artifacts and ensure the effect integrates smoothly with the scene. To ensure the particle effect scales naturally with the camera zoom, we'll add keyframes to the scale value of the particular layer and animate it accordingly. Oh, fix the small leaf issue here. Let's move the leaf layer's position downward. To maintain visual consistency, we add a blur effect to the particular layer, similar to what we applied to the leaf layers. By matching it to the camera movement, we enhance the depth and overall visual quality of the scene. To add a more natural and cinematic feel, we select all the layers and activate motion blur for the entire composition. And that wraps up our product animation project. In this video, I walked you through the full process of creating a clean, professional-looking ad animation, step by step. I truly hope you found it helpful, inspiring, or maybe both. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit the like button and share your thoughts in the comments below. And of course, make sure to subscribe to the channel. I've got a lot more exciting content and advanced tutorials coming soon. Thanks so much for watching and spending your time with me. Until next time, stay creative and take care.